Hi Reefers, and welcome to my latest video of the REEFER 450. First of all, a real big apologies for not posting any videos recently. This was shot some 2 months ago when the tank was 10 months old, but just been mad busy and haven't been able to edit and post to YouTube. All the previous videos have been shot under white light, but I thought I would do something a bit different and shoot as the tank lighting moves between white and blue. I continue to see good growth in most of the corals and also upgraded to a new skimmer, but more about that later on. However, the first and major down point I've had in the tank is something totally self-inflicted. So about 3 weeks ago I was messing about, for want of a better word, with the apex, and I managed to dislodge a cable. What this actually did was, for some reason, the doser did not dose no pox, and as a result the phosphate levels increased to 0.08 and the nitrates went up to 20, and both is the highest I've seen since setting up the tank. Within a short period of time I had an outbreak of cyano, and within a couple of weeks it's overtaken quite a few of the rocks, spreading over the corals, and despite trying to remove it, was causing problems, and some of the zoas were beginning to die off. I undertook some research online and came across a product called CHEMICLEAN that had some really good feedback, and most people had said it cleared their tank within 48 hours without any ill effects. So I bought some, and within 48 hours the cyano had gone, and also the small amount of bubble algae that was in the tank also went, so really pleased. However, within the next 3 to 4 days my 30-40 head branching hammer started to deteriorate, and as you can see in the picture, has virtually died. It's coming back now, but I don't think it will be the same as it was. It was one of my favourite corals. The big learn for me after this is, one, don't mess about with kit when you don't need to, and if you do, always check to make sure that it's working and functioning all okay. And secondly, if you're going to use a product, even though there's really good feedback and nobody has had any issues with that product, you can't rely on it, and the risk is down to yourself. Since setting the tank up 9 months ago, I've been running the NIOS 120 Quantum Skimmer, and I've got to say it's a really good skimmer, and I would recommend it to anyone. It has been built for tanks up to a capacity of 500 litres and pulls out around about 500 litres per hour of air. So what you really get is a high capacity skimmer that has some serious bubbles, and I've really found that it pulls out some serious crud from the tank. If it's that good, so why am I changing? Well, during the past 9 months the bioload on the tank has increased. Both my Vampire and Regal tank have grown and grown and grown, and will continue to grow over the next 5 or 6 months. I've only got 13 fish, but if you add the Vampire and Regal tank together, them two probably add the equivalent of about 8 or 9 small fish, which really adds up, I suppose, in bioload terms, to about 21. And I would really like to add another 5 or 6 fish. So there's a dilemma. Do I stick with what I've got, hoping that as the Regal and Vampire grow, the existing skimmer copes with it, or do I upgrade the skimmer with a view that actually that can handle the increase in size of Regal and Vampire, but also I get the opportunity to add more fish, which is what I really want to do. After much deliberation I decided to upgrade to the NIOS 160 skimmer. When I start to compare the NIOS 160 to the NIOS 120 skimmer, whilst the performance is substantially different, the actual size of it isn't that much. The length of the 160 is 18 centimeters compared to 15 centimeters. The width is 25 centimeters compared to 21, and the height is 57 centimeters compared to 44. So fitting in the sump isn't a problem and doesn't take up that much of a footprint. The reported performance, however, is quite a bit different. The 1200 is designed for up to tanks of 500 litres, whereas the 160 is designed up to 1000 litres, so that's double. and the air bubbles per hour on the 120 is 500 and on the 160 is 1500. And that's what actually made me get this skimmer. At 1500 this outperforms a number of other skimmers for the same price range and the same design. Overall, I'm really pleased with the tank as it's progressing pretty well, but as always in reefing there are challenges, and having cyno and almost losing the branching hammer was a real disappointment, but that's kind of made up by the new skimmer. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to posting future trials and tribulations of my Red Sea Reefer 450.